hottest topics in the trucking industry today is that of the truck driver shortage in North America. It's something all of us in the industry are quite familiar with. It's something we hear and see a lot of on social media, in trucking publications, television broadcasts, you name it. The shortage of drivers is obviously a big problem for the trucking industry as well as for the North American economy. The U.S. trucking industry is short about 30,000 drivers, and they predict in approximately 2 years' time these numbers to about triple. So it's a really big problem. What has really brought about the truck driver shortage in the first place? Essentially, in my opinion, it's a problem that's been created by the low wages paid to truckers. Truckers were paid well back in the 70s and the 80s, and trucking companies didn't have any problem getting drivers to work for them. Nowadays, you'll see blitzes by trucking companies, hiring blitzes, hiring bonuses, big ads, constant ads in the trucking publication and on social media looking for drivers. Hiring jobs nowadays don't keep up to the cost of living. They don't even come close to meeting the indexed cost of living. For what the job entails, being away from your family for long periods of time, it's stressful work, it can be dangerous work, it's a lonely job, and it's a serious commitment. It's a serious career commitment. The average driver in Canada and the US brings home anywhere from $700 to $850 take home per week. That can be a very well-paid driver getting a lot of miles. There are a considerable number of drivers I know making less than that. So the money really isn't very good at all. No pension with that salary. Sometimes there's benefits. But overall, the job just doesn't pay what it should for the work done. Other jobs keep up with the cost of living index. Employees get periodic raises every now and then. It's not been so in the trucking industry. Look at even waiters and waitresses in the restaurant business, for example, an unskilled labor force. Mind you, their hourly rate isn't great, it's not high. But to leave a 15% tip in a restaurant anymore is really cheaping out. They're expecting 20% because of the cost of living index. So there's a prime example right there. You know, it really boggles my mind every time I hear there's a shortage of truck drivers in North America. The carriers, the shippers, everyone talks about it like it's some disease that we don't know how to cure. When the fact of the matter, there is a cure, but it's a cure that no one really wants to face. It's an answer to this whole problem, and that is to pay truck drivers what they're worth for the work that they do. That is the solution to the problem that everyone's avoiding. So what does the industry do as a result? Because they won't pay the drivers more, we bring in foreign workers from other countries. These workers are more than happy to work for the low wages that we offer them because it's better than what they were making in their own home country. So it's really not their fault. They're doing it to survive. And we're inviting them and we're bringing them into North America to fill these seats. We're also lowering our hiring standards, which is a very dangerous practice, but it's going on, and anyone that's driving on the road today knows that that's a fact. We are getting a large number of unskilled drivers out there. We're seeing big hiring campaigns by the carriers, trying to promote folks and encourage them to get into the trucking industry, to make truck driving a career, are increasing their mileage rate by notably a few cents a mile, which to me is really just a big joke. I'm sure most of you know that one of the big US carriers have increased their mileage rates by 2%, have increased their mileage rate by 2 cents a mile to the driver, and they really think that they've really stepped out there and offered something wonderful to the drivers. For a driver that covers 10,000 miles a month. That's a measly $200 a month, and that's not take-home pay either. So really that's, in my opinion, just adding insult to injury. It's going to take a heck of a lot more than a lousy 2 cents a mile to get even close to what drivers today need to be paid. It comes down to raising the shipping freight rates in trucking. Shippers have had it way too good for too long. And thanks to deregulation, everyone else in the trucking industry, including the North American public, has benefited from deregulation. Everyone except for the truck drivers. And that's why our wages have been stuck at what they were paying back in the 80s, for example. Deregulation was good for the trucking industry, everyone except for the truck drivers. And the crime of paying low wages to truckers is coming to a halt because the carriers simply can't fill these seats for these jobs to move their freight. Truckers are simply tired of working long, hard hours and not getting the return for their work. You know, it's not rocket science. This problem can be solved. Come up with a fair pay schedule, a fair pay structure for truck drivers. Something that is fair, something that is good for everyone. To be compensated for a difficult, dangerous, stressful job is really not asking very much. Even if drivers were compensated for their waiting time, that would bring things pretty close to par. That's one of the big problems in this industry, is this industry does not like to pay drivers for delays in waiting time, none of which are the driver's fault. So now some trucking companies are offering to pay a little bit more money to drivers. And as I mentioned earlier, the big American carrier who's announced this big 2 cent a mile raise. But nope, it's not enough. It's not even coming close to what drivers need. If the industry truly wanted to solve this problem, they could. It seems that they've done everything that they possibly can to try to avoid paying drivers proper wages and what they're worth. Show the truckers the money. Pay them what they're worth. Pay them waiting time. Pay them a fair wage. And drivers will line up to fill your 30,000 or more jobs.